Welcome in. You already know what time it is. Alex Kleininger in the building. Let's dive into the Nexus. Let's dive into the Nexus. Step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their home. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus. Yeah, the mics stay reckless. Hometown justice, legends in the message. Casey Yokin's on the trail, solving cases non-stop. Turn it up loud, yeah, the Nexus don't stop. We talk plot twists, characters, theories. Author Q&A, getting answers you've been hearing. Special guests slide through, pull up a seat. Chaotic conversations with the Carolina heat. From small town drama to the mysteries deep. Every chapter got secrets we're ready to keep. Laughs laid back, but the energy wild. If you read Kleininger, you already family now. Let's dive into the Nexus, step into the zone. Carolina stories got a life of their own. From the pages to the labs, yeah, we break it all down. If you love those books, you're at the right sound. Let's dive into the Nexus, come and connect us. Alex Kleininger live, yeah, you rocking with the Nexus. Hit play, stay tuned. Every episode fresh. Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. Brought to you straight from Carolina soil. Press play and let's dive in.
Welcome to the Carolina Nexus. I'm your host, Alex Kleininger, live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Welcome in from all three outlets. Yesterday, we discussed the characters of Marcus Bagwell and Alexander Graham Ruler and determined that for Thursday's show, we'll be discussing Bruce Bagwell and Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando. But for today's episode, I have received a lot of questions after last Thursday's show went off the air concerning Dennis Raymond and Luke Mitchell. So today I'm going to answer a few of them on air. And if you viewers have any questions you'd like to ask about any characters we've discussed recently, ask them here. I'll answer it. I'll answer them live. But before that, though, a few announcements concerning this show and how it will be operating running forward. I'm about to get real personal here, so you guys that are tuning in, if you're not here for the personal beef, it's cool. It's very cool. Now, the lighting sucks today because my light's been on the fritz, so I'm having to use a lamp. And again, it sucks. I'm not afraid to admit that. I've been trying to make it work, but it won't. It is what it is. We will continue. The show must go on, right? Right. So, with that being said, this is the lighting you get. I'll replace my ring light later. It's cool. It's very cool. I'm here. You can see me. I can see you. Partially, your comment down there. The Carolina Nexus originally began as an idea to bring myself and my daughter, Caitlin, closer together by having us work on this project as a team. Unfortunately, life has a way of screwing up even the most well-thought-out plans, and she's only been on one or two episodes. She still gets co-host credits, and we try to schedule shows around her tedious work schedule. However, moving forward, I cannot guarantee she'll be available for every show that I plan to do. I will maintain my regularly scheduled days of Tuesdays and Thursdays to host character discussions and Q&A and have my special guests on. If Caitlin is free to join us, she will. If she isn't, she won't. That's just how it's got to work. Secondly, Wednesday shows. After this week, Wednesday shows will be a thing of the past due to the fact that I'm trying to judge interaction. And so far, I get more interaction on Tuesdays and Thursdays than I do on Wednesdays. So we're going to continue to do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays will come along whenever I have enough material to produce a show for. I'm going to use today's episode to judge interaction. If people are interacting more, we'll do more. If they're not interacting, we will do more. It's just how that works. Finally, Q&A sessions will be open throughout all the shows. And I feel like I shouldn't have to make this announcement, but I will. Q&A sessions will be open throughout all shows. However, I will not immediately ask your question the moment it pops into my chat box if I'm in the middle of explaining another answer or talking about the books. I will finish speaking on what I'm speaking on, then I'll bring your question on the show. I'll answer it live on air, And if you're not happy with that, I appreciate you tuning in and watching. Just watch. You don't have to interact with the comments. I've had several people over the last week message me, "Hey, you didn't get to my question immediately as soon as it posted. You were talking about something else and completely forgot about my." No, I didn't forget about you. You just came in while I was in the middle of a thought process and I didn't post it. Or your question had nothing to do with Carolina Nexus, the characters we were discussing, something like that. I've had a few questions come on here completely off topic, and I'm not answering those questions. If they're not about what we're discussing on the show, the questions won't get answered. Now, if it's a free for all show, or if you're tuning in to Carolina Nexus After Dark, that's the place to ask the off the wall questions that have nothing to do with Carolina Nexus. Not here. Not on a show that is dedicated to the Carolina Nexus and the books that brought it all together. With that being said, final announcement for the show. Hometown Justice Hostile, the fourth installment in the Hometown Justice side of the Carolina Nexus. 21 chapters of Alex Ruler, Taekwondo, Ken Manson, and the people of Hopeful rebuilding at the conclusion of Hometown Justice Aftermath. Will be released in March. But for the Carolina Nexus, and because I'm the author, I can do this, I'm giving you a sneak peek. I'm going to read the back cover summary of the book to you guys. But before I do that, let me check in with the chat, see what everybody's saying. Jack Morgan, you know I got to be picky. Or people come on here and ask stupid questions. Like, one of the questions that was in my inbox was, why aren't there any sex scenes in your book? Well, first off, my books are aimed at young adults, not the BDSM crowd. I'm not a romance author. I don't do that. Hi, Amber. Thanks for tuning in. But, Jack, if you got questions about the characters, ask them. I'll bring them on and answer them. That's the whole point of this. Now, back to my announcements. I'm going to read you the back cover summary of Hometown Justice Hostile. And I want some comments in the chat group. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if this is a book you're going to pick up. The back cover reads, Hometown Justice Hostile. Some secrets are too dangerous to keep. Others are too dangerous to reveal. Sheriff Alex Ruler has spent less than a year behind the badge, but he's already proven himself to the people of Hopeful, North Carolina. Decorated Marine turned lawman. Alex has made it his mission to protect the small town he calls home no matter the cost. But when a federal agent from the Regional Investigation of Preternatural Crimes Department arrives with questions about Alex's transformation during a public martial arts tournament, everything he's built begins to unravel. The RIPD has one rule that can destroy him. Preternatural beings cannot uphold human law. If they prove what he is, he loses a badge, and his town loses his only line of defense. He couldn't have picked the worst time to be under investigation. The West End Wendigos, a ruthless motorcycle gang with ties to a shadowy criminal empire, are tightening their grip on Hopeful. Their leader is cunning, patient, and playing a game Alex doesn't fully understand. When a brutalized stranger stumbles into town that connects him to both the gang and Alex's own bloodline, the stakes become deeply personal. Caught between a federal agency determined to expose him and an enemy that wants to destroy everything he protects, Alex must rely on his training, his deputies, and the bonds of family to hold the line. But in a town where the supernatural hides in plain sight, the greatest threat may be the one he never sees coming. In Hopeful, justice isn't just the law, it's the way of life. That, my friends, is the back cover summary of Hometown Justice Hostile that will be releasing in March. You see, Jack, this is a good question. And there is a Jack Morgan character that's going to be in the series, but I'm torn between putting him in the Hometown Justice series or the Casey Elkins series. I got to find out where he fits in. As of right now, there's no plans for Jack Morgan to be in the series immediately. I'm finding his place, and when I find his place, he'll be there. Hey, Amber, Hometown Justice Hostile is book 4, not book 3. But thanks for the input. I do appreciate the input. Now, Hometown Justice Hostile, book 4 of the Hometown Justice series will be ready for release in March. Be on the lookout for it. Starting tomorrow, very first book in the Hometown Justice series, Hometown Justice Homecoming. You may remember it from this image. It now boasts this image, made by my producer Scott Larson. Hometown Justice Homecoming will be on sale on Amazon for $8.10 for the physical copy, $2.99 for the digital copy on Kindle, the absolute lowest I can reduce it down to. This sale will not last long, people. You can get yours by going online right now and following these instructions at the bottom of your screen. Don't work too hard, Jack Morgan. Thanks for tuning in and give me that view. So, Amber, to catch you up to speed here, I was talking about Hometown Justice Hostile, the fourth book in the series. Make an announcement about it being ready in March on Amazon. That was what the back cover was. And I do appreciate you liking the front cover of Hometown Justice Homecoming. Scott Larson did an amazing job, and I cannot wait for him to redo the rest of the series if he so chooses. It's up to him. I'm not trying to put a lot of work on him. Now, before we dive into character discussions and answers these questions, I got a couple more things to announce. Let's go back. Graphics. First things first. Gemstone Championship Wrestling presents Icebreaker April 18th. Ladies and gentlemen, you will not miss this if you're a fan of professional wrestling in the Carolinas. Right here, Cleveland County, we're just minutes away from Flair Country. And if you know who Ric Flair is, you know he's a very important figure in professional wrestling history. Icebreaker brings an all-female promotion, the Women's Revolution, finally coming in to independent wrestling, and I'm excited for this show. Go check them out. TCW presents Valentine's Vengeance, February 21st, day before my birthday at the historic Shelby City Park. Again, great wrestling action here in Flair Country, and they're going to tear the roof off, guys. You can't be disappointed at Shelby City Park. Go check them out. And then, of course, there's my boy Dump Truck with his Diesel Honey. I cannot wait for mine to come in so I can try it live on air for you guys to hear my personal opinions on it. But check him out. He says he cares at all the shows. It's going to be a fun one. Scott Larson, welcome, welcome, welcome. I was just telling the people that tune in how you did an amazing job on my cover for Hometown Jumping. And if you choose the rest of the series, you will do it. But I'm leaving it totally up to you because I don't want to put too much on you. This has gotten rave reviews online. The cover is amazing. And I've also been able to add it to the Kindle version as of this morning. And they both go on sale later today. Or tomorrow. I'm sorry. Later tomorrow. They'll be on sale for $8.10 for the physical copy. $2.99 for the digital copy. That sale won't last long. All right, guys. Without further ado, it's time for the Q&A, extended Q&A session. So like the theme song says, tune in, press play, and let's dive in. So I've got a bunch of questions concerning Luke Mitchell, Vinnie Venom, the Golden Trio. We're going to answer them all right now. Scott Larson says, sweet, glad I could help, and that's amazing. Brother, it was amazing that you went out of your way and did that for me. I appreciate it so very much. We are going to cherish the work you've done for this book series, because without you, I don't believe I would have sold as much as I have. Hashtag Truth was monumental in helping put books in hands. Thank you again for all that hard work and for bringing me on Hashtag Truth. I can never repay that, except by bringing you on my show and letting you talk and have fun on that side of the mic and do your thing that way. Well, now that we're diving in, let's get to these questions really quick. Like, unfortunately, I cannot bring them on the screen, so I'll just ask them. I'm reading them off my phone over here. The first question I'm going to talk about says, why did you give Luke Mitchell the same job as the fellow he is based on? That question is very simple. It dates back to what Scott and I talked about during that episode. If I'm basing a character off of somebody that I know, I try to relate that character to that person as much as possible. For example, Luke Mitchell or Luke Markley. Luke Markley is the best diesel mechanic I know. He's not a jack of all trades. He knows his shit when it comes to diesel mechanic. He taught me a lot of things. I'm proud to say I know Luke Markley, and I've learned from Luke Markley. I wanted Luke Mitchell to be the exact same person with very little difficulty translating the character to the page. That's why I sat there with my computer on my toolbox and typed as I asked Luke questions. I made it as authentic as possible. I wanted to give him a real life feel, ground him in reality while the rest of the show is based in fantasy. You can tell that by the energy manipulation, the over exaggerated anime style combat, the martial arts that doesn't really exist. You can see the fantasy elements there. I had to have certain characters that were based in and grounded in reality to make this show resonate. Or not the show, to make the book resonate, to make the series resonate. And that's what I've done. And again, like I discussed with Scott, balance. Mr. Miyagi said it best. Life is about balance. I had to balance the grounded reality and the fantasy elements to make this book meaningful, to make the characters meaningful. And I loved it. It was one of the most engaging things I've done as an author to balance reality and fantasy. Moving on to the next question. The next question says, will Vinny and Luke ever interact? And the answer to that question is very simple. Yes. When will they interact? I can't tell you. Because I don't want to give away spoilers. I'm not Paul Heyman. I'm not going to alert you to spoilers. I'm just going to keep them to myself so you figure them out. But Vinny and Luke do have an altercation in the first trilogy, and they have another altercation in the second trilogy. I'm going to let you guys figure out when that happens. Then you can come back on the show and ask me questions about the altercations. I think that's how that works, right? I give you guys something to invest in. You go invest in it. You come back, and you invest even more into it by getting more details out of me. Sound like a plan? Thanks, guys. And viewers, if you're just now tuning in, just because I have these questions already sent to me does not mean you can't put more in the comment section. Ask them. I'll answer them. Scott, if you're still watching, I know your mind's working, and you had a bunch of questions the other day, but your back started bothering. You had to get off. Ask those questions now. I'll answer them live. Okay, so this next question says, how do the Golden Trio react when Luke switches sides? And by the Golden Trio, I'm assuming you mean Ty, Ken, and Alex, which would be, to be fair, is the Golden Trio of my series. I'm going to answer your question with a question of my own. If you want to know how they react, why don't you pick up the book and read? Don't come on here and ask me questions like that. That's trying to get me to give away plot. I'm not trying to give away plot. I don't want to give away plot. So, with that being said, moving on. Aside from Alex Ruler, will any of the characters we've talked about over the course of the last two shows cross over into the Casey Elkins series? Actually, that's a very good question. And it sort of piggybacks off what my wife says or asks in most episodes. Yes, looking over the draft of Casey Elkins' book 3, I do believe there will be calls for Luke to appear in the Casey Elkins series. And again, I apologize if you guys hear the barking dog in the background. Neighbor's dog's going crazy. I'm in a thin walled shed. I'm doing the show best I can. Keep it up. Now, back to the question. I do believe there will be calls for Luke to come into the Casey Elkins series number 3. I believe that I can't say. But I do believe he will be in Casey Elkins book 3 for at least a chapter or 2. Hope that settles everything. I know when Amber asked the question, I initially said no, but after reading over the outline for book 3 of Casey Elkins, I do believe there's going to be calls for Luke Mitchell to be in Casey Elkins. Let's see. I got more questions. I just got to find them. They're on my phone. Give me 1 minute, guys. One. Sorry about that. Scott says he's still chasing his cat on the back porch. We need to see video of that, Scott. Is there any character that will be unalive in any series? Yes. There will be characters that will be taken out of context, but I'm not George R. Martin. I don't kill characters for shock value. Characters to get people. I don't write characters people get attached to, then kill them off. So you don't have to worry about that with me. If you get attached to a character, you pretty much they're going to be safe. If I design them to be for them to be attached to, but I don't particularly like killing characters just for the sake of killing somebody to draw an interest. One moment, guys. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. Scott, I like the way you worded that. And yes, there will be characters that do fake outs. I'm a huge fan of fake outs. Not as much as The Walking Dead used the fake out with Glenn, but I'm a fan of fake outs. Um, my first attempt at a fake out is what happened to Alex at the end of book one of Hometown Justice, Homecoming. That was a fake out. Um, but I think I did it pretty good. My wife hated it, so if my wife hates something that I do, I know it's great. In my books, anyway, if my wife hates something that I type that happens to my characters, I know it's great entertainment for my readers. So she's one of the ways I judge things in my books if it's going to go over well with my readers. But yes, there's going to be several more that do that. There's one in particular I can think of that an outline calls for it, and you're not going to know for a couple of books if he's alive or not. See, that right there is my proof. If it makes her mad, it's money. Scott, as long as nothing happens to the character that she's obsessed with, Casey Elkins, she'll be fine. I want to sleep in the building. I'll give you that one, Scott. So after this Thursday show, tomorrow show, I'll get to that question in just a minute, Scott. Um, After Thursday show, where we talk about Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando and Brutus Bagwell, I'm going to switch things up a bit and really see if my wife and Caitlin are paying attention to the show. We're going to discuss Casey Elkins next week. I made the decision just now. Okay, so are you jealous your wife likes Casey more than you? Inquiry minds must want to know. No, I'm not jealous of that. I'm jealous of the fact that she claims she loves everything I write, but she only focuses on the Casey Elkins series. When she's talking to other people, she doesn't mention Hometown Justice at all. Truth be, Casey Elkins is a project that I started. I was a co-author, and the co-author is who the character is based off of, and Amber loves the co-author almost as much as she loves me, so that's why she's intrigued. Plus, I think Amber has the um, she leans more toward the female hero, the female led series. May just be the fact that they're hunting vampires. I don't know. We'll bring Amber on one day and we can ask her. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There's my wife telling you that her friends are more supernatural. Well, now that they're shared universe, supernatural happens in Hometown Justice. I just had to have Casey to be the segue for. Okay, so for some reason, it's not letting Amber post her question, but it's letting her make regular comments. So Amber's question is, will there ever be crossovers between my series? Yes, that's why I combined them into the same universe for the Carolina Nexus. But mainly the crossovers, and I don't really consider it a crossover, all calls between Casey and Alex. But occasionally, Casey's team will go to Pokeful and Alex Blacksburg. Um, there's going to be plenty of crossovers headed, but once I get to the end of the Hometown Justice series, I got 9 books planned out. There will be one Avenger style crossover between both teams taking down one Ultimate Evil, and I don't know what the name of that book's going to be yet, but that's going to be the book that ends the entire series. So hold on one moment. Let me see if I got any more questions picked out on my phone. Um, Give me just a second. Well, see, the thing about the books are, when I initially set out to write Casey Elkins, I never intended her to be set in the same universe. Um, but I introduced her character to Hometown Justice Aftermath, and she got really big, and they told me to spin it off and do her own series. I wasn't intending on it to be set in the same universe and that'd be the same Casey Elkins. It's supposed to be a different character. But things happened and it came out the way it came out, and I'm glad it did because I enjoy writing that series. It takes a lot more research, which I'm not afraid to research. Um, but and the reason it takes more research is I have to research lore on the things that go bump in the night and then change it to make it original. Um, Without giving too much away, I did that with lichens and vampires. And when we talk about Casey Elkins next week, maybe we can touch on some of that stuff that I've changed about lichen lore and vampire lore. Who knows if my lovely wife has questions like that, or Scott has questions like that, or any other viewer has questions like that about the lore of the series, ask them. We'll answer things that aren't answered on screen. I have a question in my inbox right now about the character of Kurikon, Larry Armstrong. I'm saving it for his episode. That's a deep dive into that character. and I'm excited to do that. I can't wait for him to for his episode to come up. Now, since he is a Casey Elkins character too, his name's gonna be on both wheels, so it may transition that we get to him and Casey Elkins discussion over the hometown justice discussion. Hey Amber, can you keep that question ready for deep diving into Casey Elkins and what makes her story different from Hometown Justice? I will give you the short, and you can ask it again next week when we're discussing her books. Casey Elkins is inspired by Laurel K. Hamilton's Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. I was introduced to that series by my friend Mindy Duckett, and I've read them all. When I set out to write Casey Elkins, I generally had no idea where I wanted to go with the character. Then I remembered how badass Anita Blake was. And Anita was described as a petite woman. Casey is described as a petite woman. And I like that mentality that the monsters in the Anita Blake universe have, that because Anita's so much smaller than they are, she's weak and she's helpless. And I try to portray that with Casey Elkins. With that being said, we will go deep diving into Casey Elkins next Tuesday, 10 a.m. Well, since we're all out of questions at this moment, I'm going to run it back a minute. I've been pretty clear on the podcast and on hashtag why Hometown Justice was written. One moment. I've been pretty open about how the Hometown Justice series got kickstarted. It started as a school project when I was in high school, and it took me 13 years to get the first book published. It was a roller coaster ride after that. Now I'd like to deep dive into the martial arts that I use. And originally, let me put that on the screen for you guys. Hang on. Where is it? And this is going to tie into tomorrow's episode about Sensei Yoshimoto Kwando. So keep your questions that pertain to Yoshimoto Kwando for tomorrow, but ask questions about the martial arts here. Here we go. So, the martial arts I created for my series is called Jang Kwang Do. And it derives its abilities, its fighting style from Miyagi-Do karate, from Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid, which draws real life inspiration from regular martial arts. Miyagi-Do however, focused only on defense, which is a what most karate is based off of, self defense. Because martial arts masters, martial arts teachers, they teach you that martial arts is not about waging war; it's about self defense, discipline, control. However, as we learned in season 5 of Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi didn't tell Daniel everything about Miyagi Do karate. There's a side of it that was intended to wage war, or more accurately, there was a side of Miyagi Do karate that says if your opponent insists on waging war, remove their ability to wage. And I thought that was mysticism, and I love mysticism. I'm a huge Dragon Ball nerd. Yu Yu Hakusho, Naruto. I've watched it all, and I love the mysticism behind the martial arts. So when I created my own, initially that's what I called the karate, the martial arts. I called it Miyagi Do. Well, then I was afraid of copyrights, and so when I added the other elements to it, the elements of using the the animals from the Ninjetti, bullpucky karate is fighting. I travel left side past squish. All right, Scott. So wrong. It's self defense. Only Cobra Kai and the Way of the Fist believe that karate is fighting. Anyways, when I was developing the martial arts, and adding the Ninjetti my own animals, the dragon and the tiger, to the fighting style, I changed the name and I used a very old name generator that I used in high school. Because mind you, I did this for book 2. I gave it an official name in book 2 because I got some backlash, and I gave it the official name of Jang Kwang Do from a name generator I used in high school, Seventh Sanctum. So online names all types of names. It does. You can create your own religion, your own martial arts, your own um, religion, your own races, your own languages, and I gave a very few pieces of information about the martial arts style that I wanted to give a name to, and it gave me a name. I agree with that. I agree with that. Cobra Kai was the better name. That announcer from the All Valley tournament had no problem saying that was the most badass name for a karate dojo. Um, however, it's because of Barney Stinson and How I Met Your Mother that Cobra Kai even got greenlit, right? Let you mellow on that for a minute. But anyways, when I was creating Jang Kwang Do to make it official, Seventh Sanctum came into clutch and gave me the name. And and developing the individual styles, because I've gone really in depth with this. I plan on bringing more users of the style into the series. Seventh Sanctum helped me do that. They helped me expand the fighting styles and make sure each has their own blend, their own flavor. However, what, Scott? Open forum here. Give me what you thinking. The Golden Trio were made up of Tiger, Dragon, Ape, and I used two made up styles plus an established style to set the standards. In an early draft, in the fight between Chase and his fellow student in front of when Alex first reunites with Ty, there was the I got you, Scott. I got you. There was the spider style that I introduced, and my editor pointed out that I was trying to use the Ninjetti, and I didn't want to use too many non-established styles to keep up with just the two styles I had that were non-established and establish them myself as the plot progresses. So my wife has tried to send me another question, and YouTube's not posting it to the stream for some reason. So here we go. I'm gonna answer her question. Her question was, bring it back up. You said before that you started writing the story back in high school. Was this your way of joining karate since your health issues, asthma, makes it hard for you to do these things in real life? The correct answer is no. That was not my way. It is my way of doing it because I couldn't afford to do karate. It was always a goal of mine, and while I was never able to officially join a dojo, I lived vicariously through Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence on screen. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I lived vicariously through them and their martial arts, and I adapted it into my book series. Now, at one point, I was delusional enough to believe I could do like Sean William Scott's character in the movie Bulletproof Monk, where he just watched a bunch of old Bruce Lee movies and learned karate. That was delusional. That's not how it works. That was pure, unadulterated Hollywood magic that let him do that. And I'm sure there's somebody on the face of the earth that could do it, just not this country boy. Give me just a second. I'm going to hook up Scott, get him on the show. He's asking to be here, so we're going to let him be here. Boom. And go. Ah, never mind. Scott's here. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. This is the producer of the show. Welcome aboard.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
All right, good deal. Okay, I have to say something real quick because this theory that karate is defense is hogwash. Even the Karate Kid, you're going to tell me that the swan kick was defense?
The crane kick was
the crane kick? Yeah, the crane kick. I'm sorry, the crane kick.
I mean, you use your opponent's momentum against them. That's all that was. Defense.
I gotta find my volume so I can hear you better. But
hang on, it might be mine. No, it's not mine.
It's mine. It's mine. I turned my volume down the other day when I was when I was doing my WWE thing. But yeah, I just this karate thing's got me going now. You got me feeling better.
I gave you something to invest in.
Yeah, you did. You did. You did. So now I got 1,000,012 questions. So how many characters in your books know how to fight? Not necessarily just karate, but know how to fight.
Okay, so that is an insurmountable knowledge. I will give you this much: at least 20 know various fighting styles. The character we're going to
Now,
discuss tomorrow, Bruce, he uses is his fighting style, and I don't elaborate on what that is in the books, but it's a brutal version of martial arts where they stop just because the opponent stops fighting back.
I got you. I got you. So is any of your books set up to where it's basically, hey Amber, how you doing? Is it basically set up where the good guys know this karate, the bad guys? Is it sort of that way, or is it just the bad guy fights his style and you just happen to name the styles?
In the prequel, Taigapagon, it reads pretty much like a off-brand Karate Kid movie.
Okay.
There's and it, even some of the names in it. There's Boba Fang Dojo, which is a Cobra Kai ripoff. They use the Way of the Fist, also a Cobra Kai ripoff. It's actually called Cobra Style, and there's no other martial arts name given for it. But that's the only one where there's bad karate versus good karate. The rest of it is the good guy fights their way, bad guy fights their way.
Now that's in the Casey Elkins series. Now in your other series where it's Alex.
No. The Taigapagon is the prequel to Hometown Justice, so that's all Hometown Justice.
Okay, so okay, I'm confused. Let me ask it this way.
Okay.
To straighten out, because if I'm confused, that means somebody else is going to be confused. Is Alex Ruler, right? Is that
right?
Alex Storm or Alex Ruler?
Right, Alex Ruler.
Alex Ruler. I keep getting them mixed up. But Alex Ruler, okay. Alex Ruler is the guy who comes home from the military. So he's got military training on top of
martial arts.
Martial arts is what you're telling me. Okay, now I'm understanding. Okay. Now I got it. Now 2 and 2 make 4 now. Okay.
Gotcha.
Because I was thinking you were talking all this karate, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. You said he was a military man, and now I'm finding out that before the military, he was kind of raised in
right. And if you pay attention to the Amber's favorite scene in Hometown Justice Homecoming, the breakup scene, the flashback, that scene details why he's going to the military.
Okay.
Why he's leaving karate behind and going to the military. He explains to Allison in that scene why he wants to do it.
Gotcha. Okay. I apologize for the mess behind me, folks. My cats are they done tore all my posters off my walls. I've got nothing on my walls. You can see my walls are bare now. I have I can't say cats. My one cat. I have a calico cat that likes to jump 6 feet high and just tear down my posters. So, yeah. Alex Ruler sounds like he could be a dangerous man. Oh, bug off. I hate that scene. Oh, you're a girl. Of course you're going to hate a breakup scene. I think, again, Alex proved his point. If he didn't make you mad, he wasn't doing it right.
And like I said, that's one of the reasons she likes the Casey Elkins series more than she likes Hometown Justice. There's no breakup scenes in Casey Elkins so far.
I was going to say, not yet.
Yeah.
Yet. But now that you know what kind of bugs her,
yeah,
you got
now I know how to get Casey Elkins.
Kind of blow off kind of thing. Hey.
There was one scene in Casey Elkins' book 2, The Daywalker, where she thought she was going to start hating the series because of what went down between Casey and Alex. So,
okay, I got you.
let's look at this. Look at this guy.
So far, she's not liking this conversation. See, the one thing about it is I can get away with it. You can't.
Well, I know how to handle it. It'll be all right.
Okay. You say that now.
Was that a hint to the future? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh boy.
You opened up a can of worms, Scott.
Okay, now I do have one more question before I have to get out of here because I really don't feel good. I got my medicine sitting right here in front of me. I haven't taken it yet. And if you don't believe me, look, I'll show you the pills. See?
There you go. Look at there. Scott Larson putting his health before asking questions. I love it.
There you go. I'm putting asking questions before my health right now.
Yeah.
But because like you said, you gave me something to invest in.
Well, I'm the best.
You always do. You always find a way to do it. But
right.
Anyway, okay. So you have a military man as your lead protagonist in your first series. Okay?
Right.
Now, is there a point at any point in your books from now until he's done where he might come across some buddies that might help him or be added to the mix? Or
yes.
Okay.
Aiden Kenta, Larry Armstrong, and Keith Nakamura are his buddies from the military that pay him a visit in the first trilogy, and they remain constants throughout the rest of the series.
Okay. Just asking.
And there's actually
wouldn't be a military guy if he didn't come back.
And the buddies follow. Right. Well, see, here's the thing about his buddies. He got discharged. Alex Roller was discharged honorably because of what he did, the prologue of book 1. Aiden Kenta and Larry Armstrong left. They took their discharge paper. They're officially done. Keith Nakamura now works for NCIS, but he takes time off of work to come visit Alex. And one of my cousins that inspired the Tygapagon prequel book has asked me to write a book about their time, the team coming together and them meeting for the first time in the military. And so as soon as I get a bunch of stuff off my plate, I will start working on that prequel.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out what that green is on the. Oh, that's your your emblem in the background joins in with my TV in the background, and it looks like there's something on my TV, and I keep turning around to look to see what's on my TV, and it's your emblem.
That looks cool.
Y'all have to excuse me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see it there. It looks amazing.
Right here. It's right there, and it looks like it's part of my TV. So I'm turning around looking like, where is this coming from? Where? Okay, there's a ghost playing with my head.
Better.
Well, you do that, and it looks better because I can tell because this is a big block. But
right.
It's just because I'm like, go back, and if you want to rewind, go back, and I'm doing this like 5 times. Anyway. Gotta have some fun, man. Gotta have some fun. You've already been out an hour, man. But
I know.
I think that's all the questions I do have for this episode.
Well,
but you said tomorrow you're gonna get deeper into the karate part of it, and
yes, I'm gonna be focusing on Sensei Yoshiro Kwando, the guy that taught Alex, Ty, and Ken martial arts, and that's gonna be a big chunk of tomorrow's show because Bruce Bagwell.
Is he made after another one of your friends, or is he just a made-up character?
He's actually inspired by Mr. Miyagi. I never knew anybody that knew karate that was old to base him off of, so I based him on Mr. Miyagi.
Okay, sounds good, man. I will have some questions ready for tomorrow, man.
All right, tomorrow 10 a.m. You take it easy, boss man. Get your medicine and get feeling better.
All right, you guys, and be sure to read the books, even especially the one that I made the cover for. You got to get that one.
And it's on sale right now. It's the perfect time for them to get.
It is.
It's on
It
sale
is.
right now.
I might get one just for the cover. I've got the original. I might get one
Right.
for that cover, and I'll have both. See,
There you
and then
go.
I'll get to sign both of them. And that's
Exactly.
how that goes. But
Exactly.
all right, guys, y'all have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, Alex.
Take it easy, Scott. And that, my friends, is how you have your producer come on your show, have a good time after he tells you in a private message he doesn't do it. You got to give him something to invest in. I love Scott to death. He taught me to do things the way I do things, which is why I took the podcast script and I flipped it. When I have special guests come on, I'm not interviewing them. They're interviewing me, which is been working for me so far. The only episode that didn't happen in was the episode with Dump Truck, and that's because I was interested in what Dump Truck was doing outside of wrestling, and that was just an amazing episode all the way around. We had fun with Dump Truck, and I look forward to having him back on the show ASAP. I am also talking to Big Country about coming on the show and discussing the character of Big Country in the books when we get to book 2 of Hometown Justice. And when I do that episode, Riley will be with me because that is Big Country's biggest little fan, and it just makes sense to have Riley on screen at the same time Big Country is, even though he's going to stand beside him and act all shy and crazy and make little jokes. I'm going to have Riley here with me when I do Country episode. So you guys bear with me. Thank you for tuning in, spending this hour with me, interacting, asking questions. Remember tomorrow, like Scott said, tomorrow is going to be Yoshimoto Kwando and Brutus Bagwell. I'm going to dive into Brutus Bagwell first. It's not going to have a whole lot of information on him. May not be a whole lot of questions about him because he's a very minuscule character in book 1. Now, book 2, Brutus Bagwell got some juice there to it. You might be able to get some more questions out of it when we get to book 2, but for now, he's a very minuscule character, a lot of development for him, and we'll jump right into Yoshimoto Kwando. I know Amber's going to have questions. Scott's going to have questions now because of the whole Karate's defense thing, and we're just going to go into that together tomorrow, 10 a.m. You guys there. Thank you for tuning in. This is